CPAP of 6 or 10/5. You'll see that as standard settings a lot. That's kind of like a lot of therapists will put them on that right away and then just see what they get from there. And once you put them on, you go up by your volumes. If they're getting good volumes, then you leave it. If you want better, you can go higher or lower.
Okay, I have a question about the alarm. You said it's 5 above and 5 below. So for this one, we set it at 15, so it's 20 and 10, right? So why were you setting it at 5 and 20?
Right here?
Yeah.
What is our, this one probably won't let us go down because it's the ventilator. It's going to screw us up a little bit.
Okay.
With BiPAPs and CPAPs, it's 5 above, 5 below.
Okay.
You'll see some differences.
With
This
the
one, try not to think of this one. This is going to mess you up a little bit because you'll never, very unlikely to see.
Okay.
Usually, what a lot of therapists will do with alarms on the BiPAP or CPAP, they'll set the pressure alarms like 5 above or 5 below. Some will tweak it a little bit, but that's a good rule of thumb. Like if I have a 12/6 and I have a 12 and you have a 6, then they'll probably set their pressure at 17, their alarm anyway. So it'll alarm when the pressures go above that.
Above 12?
Yeah, above 17, 5 above that. Yeah, it's just your alarms. And you have all sorts of other alarms. You have your respiratory rate alarm, which will alarm when the respiratory rate goes above a certain point or below.
Is that also what other guidelines?
With the respiratory rate, let's see what your book would. What you see a lot with typical V60 and Visions, they'll set it at 30 or 40, as far as the high rate alarm, and that's just pretty typical. Yeah, they usually just set that. The thing is, they alarm a lot because even if the patient may not be breathing 30 or 40, if he, let's say he gets up to do something, it'll register a high rate, just so they do that to try to so it doesn't alarm so much. So you will see that if you're watching. Typically for a ventilator, usually they'll set it. You'll see some differences, but 20 for your high minute ventilation and 3 or 4 for your low minute ventilation. This patients are dirty. It's just tape. It's that tape that we use too.
Whatever. It was covered all over it this morning.
Now this mask is actually it's small. It might be an ounce train.
Bro, I have a question.
Yes.
Alright, guys.
We were gonna do that, but then we'd have to extubate him. A few more minutes. How many? 2 minutes? Okay. We were gonna do that, but we'd have to re-intubate and extubate him, so we just gonna put him on straight BiPAP, pretty much. So it's turning on, so you can get help as well.
Seems like he's choking. I think we did this
Usually
one
one
first,
on one side and then
you do then you place it like this, and
wait a
then
minute,
these two. Okay, so we just want to center a little bit.
What if your patient has an odd shape?
You could change. This mask will work, but it's probably a little bit on the small side for him. The only thing is it's the only one we have with the.
Yeah, it's too small.
But it'll work. I mean, if we can crunch it on him.
This one goes up here.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's too small.
I'll listen this way.
You can reduce it a little.
Where does it go?
It clips onto that little thing right there.
Here, let's do this one.
There you go.
I see it's too tight on your side. Let's see if that's correct.
Oh, yeah. Did he die?
He's been.
We're just gonna resurrect him. He's been dead.
So if you have help, a good way of doing it is just have somebody. Yeah, I know.
Poor thing.
Okay, so I'll hold this, and if you guys can just adjust this down here.
Yeah.
Plus we can adjust it.
So this usually goes below the jawline, right there, right below the jaw.
Like right here.
The straps?
Yeah. Let's see how this.
Just usually they're normally around there somewhere. With him, it's a little small for him, but there. Okay, he's on. Now we're gonna get a lot of weird readings because of the leak on this one. So what were you supposed to?
Okay, so
Let me go wash my hands.
Okay. We'll throw out the ET tube. We're not doing ET tube.
okay.
So if you look up here, this is what the patient is doing up here.
That's what he's doing back to you, right? And then your settings are at the bottom.
Your settings are all down here. This is what you're setting the patient, what you want the patient to do. This is what they're actually doing up here.
And is this pressure control or volume control?
This is pressure control.
Yes.
The tidal volume is right here. This is your exhale tidal volume, and this is your inhaled.
Yeah.
And with this machine, a good little thing to remember, if you ever see a number you can't remember what it is, if you push it, it'll tell you down here.
Oh, cool.
So
Thank God.
and see how it changes?
That's a nice trick.
So you ever run into that, it'll tell you. Push the thing and it'll tell you. Sometimes it's working. So we're getting kind of weird waveforms here just because, again, this is not an ideal situation, but we are getting some readings here. So this is your peak inspiratory pressure here.
That's what you're reading at, right?
Just what the pressure is, the highest pressure on there.
Highest pressure.
This is your mean airway pressure, which we'll learn more about as well.
So real quick before you actually move, you said peak inspiratory pressure. How would we read that? Would we read that as 13 or 28 when it pops up?
It's both. It's going up to 28. When it tries to give them a breath, it's going up to 28.